You're about to watch a short talk that I delivered yesterday to a group of businessmen and businesswomen about how they can actually optimise their health and fitness to serve them as a businessman or businesswoman. As well as this, you'll see a demonstration of osteopathic treatment and the philosophy behind osteopathy itself. So sit back, enjoy, and let us know what you think.
We've got a slightly different kind of presentation this evening, and it's quite an important day for Elliot. It's a year since he started his business, and he's doing really well. We'll let you tell you about that. But anyway, our speaker is Elliot Reid, osteopath and personal trainer from Revitalise. Elliot.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Elliot Reid, and I'm from the Revitalise Health and Fitness Clinic in Gravesend. Now here I'm an osteopath and a personal trainer, and for those of you who don't know what an osteopath is, we basically we study for 4 years. We study pain and injury, and we study how your lifestyle and your mechanical movement can relate to your pain and injury. Now, the problem with me relating to you, what I do, is this. If I were to ask you to place your hands in the air, if you've got an injury significant enough and severe enough to go and see an osteopath this week, please raise your hands. We've got 1, 2.
Already see some.
Okay. So 1 then. 2. So if I were to pitch to you all about the benefits of osteopathy, it's not going to be very useful. Once again, if I ask you to raise your hands, if your health and fitness is in a position at the moment where you feel like you need to spend 1 or 2 hours a week with a personal trainer to develop your health and fitness, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And of those who would actually contact personal trainer this week.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
But on the other hand, if I ask you who is self-employed, who owns a business, please raise your hand. Exactly, so it's a much bigger catchment for me, and it's a much more relevant pitch for you. So today I'm actually going to talk to you about how you can manipulate your health and your fitness to better your performance as a leader and as a businessman or businesswoman. And to do this, I'm actually going to start to tell you a story about a patient who came to me around 6 weeks ago. Now, this individual came through the door and he had almost like an aura about him of being quite successful, apart from a slight shoulder distortion. So he came into me, we sat him down, and I was asking him what he does for a living. He says that I own a sales company. I make £50,000 a month profit, and I own a Maserati lifestyle. And I was like, that's fantastic. So what can I help you with? And he says, well, the problem is that ever since I've reached out and grabbed something which was slightly too heavy for me to hold, I've injured my shoulder. And since then, I've had to walk around with my shoulder in this kind of position. I haven't had the enthusiasm and the energy to pitch sales to people, and therefore my sales have dropped. And as well as this, I haven't been able to conduct my morning routine, which is to exercise quite vigorously, and it gets me up and ready for the day so I can go out and do good business. Now, at this point, it kind of was an epiphany to me, and that's that every single one of you guys is at the epicenter of your business, i.e. every good thing that you do, every good thing that comes out of your business is directly sourced from you. And like I said, I want to talk to you guys today about how you can influence or how you can manipulate your health and fitness to improve this relationship that you have with your business. As Napoleon Hill said, Napoleon Hill's literature has influenced more millionaires than any other man's literature alive. He quite simply says that all we are as businessmen and businesswomen are our thoughts, and how effectively we can transmit our thoughts into productive actions. Okay? Now, the way that I'm going to relate how you can manipulate your health and fitness to improve your functioning as a businessman and businesswoman is take you through a very effective daily routine. Okay? Now, what I want to do is once again for you to place your hands up in the air. Who hits the snooze button as soon as they get up? Or who has a history of hitting the snooze button as soon as they get up? Okay. Now, keep your hands up in the air and keep them up in the air if you feel like hitting the snooze button makes you feel more refreshed. Not really. So the problem with this is that it gets you into quite a bad habit. Okay? You hitting the snooze button, especially in a kind of an unconscious or subconscious state, it starts to send your body messages, and you get basically a learned reaction within your nervous system. That is, whenever I hear my alarm, I'm going to hit the snooze button, which isn't very good. It doesn't get you off to a good start in the morning. Alternatively, if you were to get your alarm and place it in an outer room, or at the other end of the room, you'll start to develop a different neurological relationship. That neurological relationship will be, as soon as I hear my alarm clock, I'm so annoyed that I can't turn it off. I just plop my hand on it that I have to get out of bed, I have to walk a few feet across the room, and I have to turn it off manually. So this is a great way to just pick up a little bit of momentum to start your day. Once again, please place your hand up in the air if you get up within an hour of the time that you have to leave. So say if you have to leave your house about 8 o'clock, you get up at 7, or within an hour. Now, what I'm going to say to you guys is probably going to be a bit of a shocker at first, the suggestion, to get up an hour before you actually need to. So for example, what I'll do is I'll have to leave my house at 8, so therefore I'll get up at 6 or 5 o'clock. The reason is this, and it's quite advocated by a lot of people in self-development, business coaching, etc., is that the morning is unfortunately one of the greatest sources of stress. Once again, raise your hand if you feel like you're constantly behind when you wake up in the morning. Okay. Does that create a bit of stress in your life and make you feel a little bit tired later on in the day because you're constantly playing catch up? Okay. So to get around this, what you want to do is you want to start your first hour and split it into 4 components, so 4 15-minute slots. First thing, first 15-minute slot, exercise vigorously. Yeah, before I get the reaction.
15 minutes, you sure?
But don't you do a sit-up when you get up?
Just like 1 second.
Just go back down again.
Need your alarm clock to help you get up. Now, the reason, does anyone here exercise in the morning? Do you feel better for it? Don't listen to him.
He's obviously doing it wrong.
He's doing it wrong, yeah. Now, when I say exercise vigorously, it doesn't need to be going for a 3-mile run and killing yourself or anything like that. It more needs to be stimulation. So, for example, what I'll do is like 30 burpees. Do you know what burpees are?
Yeah.
They're horrible. And after that, I'll just go for a little light run. All you're doing here is just flooding your body with adrenaline to get you more awake. You're flooding your body with endorphins, which are feel-good hormones, so you feel positive about the day. But as well as that, it once again just picks up your momentum and you feel a lot more positive for the rest of the day. 15 minutes, I promise you, apart from you, the rest of you will feel fantastic.
Maybe I should reduce it to 15 minutes.
Yeah, how long are you exercising for?
Huh?
How long are you exercising?
About 45.
It's not too bad.
It just wipes me out.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure why I do it.
The next 15 minutes would be great for you to dedicate that amount of time to meditation. Who meditates here? Good. And why do you meditate? Exactly. They've actually done a bit of research and they've scanned a brain before and after meditation. They scanned the part of the brain called the frontal lobe, which analyses your thoughts, is in charge of your thought processing. Now, after meditation, the area of the brain is actually a lot quieter, a lot less active than it was before. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I don't want a less active brain after meditation. I need to go to work, I need to think. Basically, what it does is it cuts down the noise. So, a lot of you guys, when you're stressed, you hear voices coming into your head, to-do lists coming into your head from all different angles. Meditation will calm that, will make you a lot more decisive, and it will basically set you up for a much more stress-free day. Now, what I'd like you guys to do is join in with me for some visualization, if that's all right. I want you to go into this completely open-minded, and I just want you to tell me how you feel after visualization, okay? Now, the visualization I'm going to guide you through is going to be just to reduce your stress, or to reduce the stress that you associate with something, and improve the positivity that you associate with something. So the first thing I'd like you to do is close your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is take 10 deep breaths from my count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, try and quiet your thoughts, 7, what I want you to do is start to focus your mind on one thing that you feel is causing stress in your life. It could be as simple as picturing a clock, or a busy to-do list, or a factor in your life that you feel you can't really get out of. What I'd like you to do is concentrate on that image, and if it's a video, I'd like you to make it still. Focus on that image. Now what I'd like you to do is slowly drain all colour from that image and make it a black and white dull image. Remove any audio from that picture or from that video. And I'd like you to slowly push that image away, further and further and further, until it completely disappears. What I'd like you to now do is, in that image's place, is put something that gives you a lot of happiness in your life. Take this image, and I want you to turn it into motion. So I want you to make it a video. Gradually increase the vibrancy of the colour coming from that video, and start to associate sound with that video, and sound effects and any other enjoyable sounds that you like. Slowly bring that image closer and closer and closer to you until it expands to the point where you're forced to absorb it. And whenever you're ready, just place your hands over your eyes, open your eyes, and relax. So what you're doing there is, in your mind, you're actually reducing the significance of something that's quite stressful, and you're increasing the positive emotion that you get from something else in your life. Okay? So once again, meditation is a fantastic tool just to clear your mind and improve positivity throughout the rest of the day.
The problem is, if I start to meditate, I'll fall asleep.
So what you need to do, is a lot of people, if they meditate, I kind of slump in their chair. Believe me, I fall asleep quite easily in this position. But if I'm quite conscious in elongating my spine and assuming a certain position, then it becomes a lot harder to fall asleep. Even though you could technically have coffee before you meditate. So in the next 15 minutes, it'll be a really good opportunity for you to dedicate time to yourself. So if you're a busy person, a lot of the time you find it really hard to get that piece of time. First thing in the morning is a fantastic opportunity. In that time you could read a book that you've been dying to get your hands on, watch a motivational video on YouTube, like a TEDx speech or something like that, which I really like. And then after that, in the next 15 minutes, it's time to dedicate that time to your business. The most important thing that you can do in this time is to create a very specific to-do list, which goes over what you want to do, how much time you're going to dedicate to each task. The reason why is Parkinson's law. Has anyone heard of Parkinson's law? So Parkinson's law basically states that it will take you as much time to do something as the time you're allotted. So if you've got a massive to-do list that you just pound on your desk, and you say, right, I've got all day to do all this, it's a little bit too specific. You'll start one thing, dedicate way too much time to it, and realise at the end of the day that you're rushing to catch up. So if you allot a certain amount of time per topic or per task, then your day will go a lot smoother. Next part, time to optimise your lunch for your business ability. Who here feels very, very sleepy after lunch? Now, has anyone been able to spot a trend as to what they eat and how sleepy they feel after lunch? Anyone?
Food, the link is between food. I don't have food, I don't feel sleepy.
What kind of food?
Carbohydrates.
Yeah, exactly. Hot food, possibly.
Stella.
Stella, yeah.
Is that what you call liquid lunch? Yes.
Liquid diet.
That's the arm exercise, isn't it?
I've got two.
The reason why is because as soon as you consume carbohydrates, you get a massive boost in insulin and a boost in serotonin. Serotonin is that lovely, comfortable hormone that you get when you eat a whole bowl of ice cream and feel lovely and jelly bean and stuff. And you don't really want that in the middle of the day because you're here to do business, right? So to get around this, all you need to do is reduce the size of the carbohydrates on your plate or in your lunchbox. It really wants to be just a quarter or less of the portion size. Now, as as well as that, you can also reduce the GI of the carbohydrate that you're eating. When I say GI, if I say that a Mars bar or a milkshake is high GI, can you give me an example of a low GI food? Sweet potato is fantastic. That's one of the best low GI sources of carbohydrate. Anything else?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes, fantastic. Tomatoes, fruit, all really good sources of low GI carbohydrates. The more that you consume of those, or your portion of carbohydrates, the less sleepy you'll feel. Now, is there anything you think that you can up during lunchtime to reduce that kind of lethargic feeling after? Has to be food though. Yeah, fruit, vegetables. The reason why is because the fibre, and the fibre, especially from the vegetables, will actually slow down the absorption of your carbohydrates, which means that your sugar levels won't rapidly increase. So you're buzzing for about 10 minutes, and then after reduce, because what comes up? Nothing now. All right. Next is dinner, which we can be quite a bit more relaxed about. The reason why is because you consume dinner when you're already in a relaxed state. But what you can do to optimise your dinner is just apply 3 main principles. First principle is only eat until you're 80% full. Why? Because if you go to sleep on a full stomach, you're irritable, don't feel too good, you've got some sweats, it'll keep you awake and you won't have a very good sleep. Yeah, very nice. Unless it's a Friday. Second principle is to fill your plate up with green leafy veg. Reason why is because of the reason I mentioned before, is that it will slow down the release of carbohydrates into your bloodstream, but as well as that, you're getting a lot of valuable nutrients and vitamins and minerals, which are essential for keeping good, stable energy levels. Number 3 is only eat what looks like it could have been dug up with a stick or killed with a stick. So what I mean by this is, if I give you a chicken breast that looks like something that comes from something that could have been killed with a stick, yeah. If I show you, yeah, exactly. If I show you a chicken nugget or a piece of fried chicken, that doesn't look like it could have been killed with a stick. I want to see chickens that you could eat. Likewise, potato versus chips, or vegetables versus coleslaw. Those are the 3 principles basically keep your dinner as optimal as possible for your performance. You should feel the next day that you've got far more energy, you wake up a lot easier. Next we can look at some vitamins or supplements that you might be consuming. Does anyone here take a multivitamin? Yeah? Do you know the reason for taking your multivitamin? Do you take it for a particular reason?
Food supplement, but
Yeah.
you're going to tell me I don't really need it to have a good next time.
No, not at all. Not at all. Multivitamins are a fantastic and convenient way for getting your vitamins and nutrients in. Now, the number 1 symptom, or most common symptom, from being deficient in certain vitamins and minerals is fatigue. So once again, if we're going to work today and we want as much energy as possible, we need to get our vitamins and minerals. More specific for business is omega-3, because omega-3 is what your brain and the nerves are made out of. As well as that, it helps you metabolize healthy fats. The more fat you can metabolize, the more stable your energy levels are. But as well as that, it also helps with weight loss, if anyone's interested. And the last vitamin that you really want to get your hands on, especially if you're of an ethnic minority and you're dark skinned, is vitamin D. The reason why is because, once again, vitamin D is, if you're vitamin D deficient, number 1 symptom of that is being fatigued, and that affects everyone. Okay. Now, I'd like to finish off by taking you guys through a few exercises that you, no.
I'm not doing burpees.
No.
I don't know what they
I
are.
was going to say, I don't. I know.
You'll show you.
They're
Yeah,
evil.
exactly.
Sounds like wind.
Here,
Exactly.
that's a burpee. Yeah, they're not fun. Yeah, I want
Can you do that?
Sorry, I didn't see that.
I want to take you guys through exercises that you can use to reduce your likelihood of injury. Obviously, the more injured you are, the more sick days, the lower your performance at work. Also, I want to take you through a few exercises that actually improve your body language. So it will take you from being here and talking to someone and having this general demeanour, being more upright here, being more expressive, and having a much better influence with people when you talk to them. I do need a volunteer, please. Yeah? But what are we going to do?
Well done, Margot.
Margot, what we're going to do is we're going to go through some exercises that will improve your postural appearance, but they're also going to improve your back and shoulder stability. And that means that the more stable you are when you move, the less likely that force is going to go around the wrong way and injure your joints. Okay? So if you watch me, what I want you to do, and everyone can do this, and I want you to imagine 2 points here and 2 points here. Yep. So now if you turn and face that way, so Margaret, what I want you to do is these 2 points here and these 2 points here, if you draw them together. Good. So you see, as soon as we do that, see how Margaret's back immediately stabilises, right, and relax. Now, what that means is, you can turn and face this way now. What that means is that if we're going to pick something up, or if we're sitting at a desk where we've got a lot of load being placed through the spine, 8 to 10 hours a day, we want to be in a far more stable position. Okay? So for example, if I want to pick something up, a lot of people do this. If you watch my back angle, and they might even do that, they might do that, right? But if I engage my back, then pick something up, a lot more stable, and your muscles start to almost work together. Okay? Really, really simple trick to stabilise your spine and reduce your chance of injury. Now we can actually combine that with breathing techniques. So if I want to pick something up really heavy, once again, I'll engage my back, take a deep breath in, hold it, then pick it up. So I'm using my diaphragm, my ribs to actually stabilise my core when I'm about to pick something up. Next tip. What I want you to do is do that position again. So draw those points together. This time I want you to act like you're squeezing a sponge into your armpits. Good. So you see, as Margaret does that, her arms turn out slightly, these muscles lock in, and her shoulders in a much more stable position. Now I don't mean that Margaret has to walk around the whole time like that. But what it means is that if you're about to pick something up, you want to be squeezing the sponge. And I can squeeze, relax your arms. You can squeeze the sponge whatever position that you're in. So, for example, if I was lifting weights, I'm going to squeeze the sponge. If I was about to pick something up heavy, I want to squeeze the sponge. It's all about turning your hand from here, all floppy and rubbish, to there. Alright? Cool. And once again, by just making those couple of adjustments, posturally, you look a lot better. Now, for you, how does it feel at the moment? Does it feel like your shoulders are all the way back? Or does it feel quite comfortable?
I feel like I'm deliberately.
Yeah. But does Margot look like she's deliberately holding her shoulders back, or does she look like she's in quite a neutral position? Yeah. So that's a lot of the time when you ask someone to correct their posture, what do I do this for? My shoulders feel like they're way back. But it's not the case at all. If you try practicing in the mirror, then you'll see the difference. Probably, a lot of you guys have probably noticed the difference between you wearing a suit and not wearing a suit, how you stand. If you wear a suit, more upright, showing off your shoes, showing off your chest, etc. Everyone's got it in them. It's just an innate reflex. Same thing as if you were to try and look proud and stand proud, or if you were to try and puff your chest out when you notice conflict or something like that. It's exactly the same thing. It's just a stronger position to be in. Okay. The last thing I want you to do is demonstrate a treatment, or the methods that I use when I'm treating an injury. So does anyone here have an injury? I'll diagnose it and I'll give you the reason. Yeah? You'd like to come forward? What's your name?
John.
John, nice to meet you. I'm Elliot. So what I do when I first see John is ask him a few general bits of information about his injury. So John, can you tell me a little bit about your injury, please?
I was in a car accident about 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and I've had chronic back pain since then,
Okay.
neck
Yeah.
and hip,
Okay.
and everything in between.
So then you asked about the mechanism of injury. So were you driving?
Yeah.
Okay. Did the car hit you from a certain angle?
It hit me from here,
Side
yeah,
to the- Okay.
one
And
side.
where's your pain at the moment? One
At
side
the
or both
moment,
sides?
it's on my right side mainly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And the car hit you from the right.
Yeah.
So if you imagine John during his car accident, what happened if you turn the face this way, John, is the blow would come here. I take it you didn't see it. Okay. So that's another indication. John got hit from a car and he didn't see it. Therefore, he didn't have time to react. What that means is he's going to get a blow in this direction, and you see how the compression will go through that part of his spine. Right? What will then happen is, because all these areas are shortened, John's muscles will think, I don't know what the hell's going on, let's tighten up and get more information from the area. At that point, in a whiplash, you get the recoil, and all those tight muscles actually start to cramp up, become really tight and strained. Now, we've got a mechanism of injury, we haven't got a diagnosis, let's get a diagnosis. What I'd like you to do, John, is if you watch me, what I'd like you to do, run your right hand down the back of your leg to basically try and compress that part of your back. Any pain at all when you do that?
Not pain, no.
Okay, anything at all?
No, it's just a bit tight. But
Most feel the tightness. Okay. And like, if you do the same thing, I'm just going to try and exaggerate what you're doing there. So bend backwards instead. Any discomfort at all?
Well, it's hard to get into that position, but it's not
That's fine.
painful.
Okay. Now, if you can roll down and try and touch your toes. Any discomfort at all there?
Yeah, hamstrings.
Hamstring.
Yeah.
Any tightness in your back at all?
Not, maybe left side a little bit.
Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is just run your right hand down your legs, touch your toe on that side. Any discomfort there at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Left hamstring.
Left hamstring.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got here some vague muscular tightness, possible compression on the right hand side, which is what we expected to begin with. Now, if John came into me, what we'd be looking to do is to slowly desensitize those muscles that are so eager to grab information. So what we'd be looking to do is start to layer certain exercises. So John's quite a fit, athletic individual. Do you exercise?
Try to.
There you
when
go.
I can.
So to do that, we want, like I said, the muscles to be far more receptive of what's going on. So we just give them more complicated information than what they're used to. So, John, if I ask you just to roll down and try and touch that toe, because that's a very basic movement that John can repeat on a daily basis. As well as that, we can start to incorporate different sports like swimming and even gymnastics or gymnastic-based manoeuvres to try and improve the amount of information that's going through the spine. As well as that, we can address his tight hamstrings and his back control all at once by just getting him to stand on one leg, making his back rigid, so once again locking that part of his spine, and from here going forward as much as you can and holding it for about 30-60 seconds. So here we're testing balance, we're testing hamstring flexibility, but also testing back stability. And that's normal. Alright, so those are the kinds of things that we can do to slowly layer John's ability as a human to produce slightly complicated movements to reduce injury sensitivity, but as well as getting back to normal lifestyle, more active, and mobile. Thank you, John.
Cheers.
Oh.
Cheers.
Honestly, put your hand up if you feel like what I've said has been of help to you guys today. Oh, fantastic. So it's done. What I'd like you guys to do, if it's alright, is for you to stay in touch with the clinic. If you could write down your email on the spreadsheet that I've got on my laptop, and what I'll do is I'll send you a link to our social media pages, and you can keep up to date with all these useful tips and hints on how you can improve your health and fitness on a daily basis. If you do need to see an osteopath or a personal trainer, get a personalised diet plan, etc., then please feel free to take one of our leaflets and we'd be happy to book you in for an initial consultation. Thank you.
That was very interesting. Thank you. Covered an awful lot. I think we were very impressed with that. No, it's great. Thank you.